Hello and welcome to Henry Miller's Movie Reviews, where I take a look at films I've never seen before but others likely will have done. And today, with the release of Top Gun Maverick, I thought I'd do a bucket list scratch off with Top Gun, which, to my great shame, I've never seen. In full, at least, because it was my brother's favourite film, so I've seen bits and pieces going into the living room and such. But it's one that I have just never seen in full. It wasn't really one that particularly enticed me because I thought it seemed a bit sort of ridiculous, to be perfectly honest. But I'm here with my friend Terry, and we're going to give it a watch and then immediately give our thoughts on it.
Just because I'm old enough to have actually seen it when it came out.
Yeah, exactly. So without further ado, let's go. So we just finished watching Top Gun, me for the first time in full at least. What were your thoughts?
I hadn't seen it in a long time. Like at the time I'd watched it, it was always on TV and we'd watched it if you had like a party. Like that's one of the kind of easy movie to put on. But I'm surprised how well it held up. It was fine. If this came out of the cinema now, I'd be happy with it. Like it's tropey as hell, but its tropes have been going since the beginning of cinema.
That's true. That's true.
And they're still going on now. So like the whole, the young, capable guy, but it's got like issues, and then something goes bad, and then he
the kind of mentor who disagrees with him. It's like, damn it! Oh,
you're good, but you need
discipline,
and blah blah blah. And then there's always the father problem and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So. But we see movies like this even still now, and we've been seeing them since the beginning of the invention.
Yeah. That's true.
And novels and literature, Greek myths are literally about this. So it's kind of, that's literally what Achilles is literally about.
Yeah.
It's a trope that we're used to, and it's fine. But the rest looked fine. It looked good. The acting was fine. Loads of obviously young people that became much bigger later.
Well, like Tim Robbins and the like.
And Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan,
Well, Michael Ironside, if you follow science fiction from the 80s, because he was the baddies and pretty much everything, like Total Recall and stuff like that. But so no, it just it looked fine. But that's the thing, again, like my love story with Tony Scott. He has done a few more arty kind of stuff later on, but he's a very competent. The cinematography is always fine.
Yeah.
The directing is fine. There's nothing over the top. There's nothing that should be thrown away.
Yeah.
It's very efficient, well made. It's got emotion when it needs to have. Action, obviously, that's the one thing that he's very good at, is action. Although the one thing we noticed he's really not very good at.
Something in common with James Cameron there.
Yes, is love scenes. Because that sex scene is awful.
It's really funny because obviously there's so many iconic moments in the film. I mean, the whole thing's really iconic, but I've seen parody to death. My favourite moment of that is probably when It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia parodied that sex scene. And it's just so funny.
I'd forgotten about this sex scene. I'd obviously blocked it out of my mind. It's those tongues.
Playing tonsil tennis,
It's literally tongues just against the light, kind of that's literally all it is for a minute and a half, and it's very off-putting. So, but as you say, iconic scenes, and that's the thing, having been around when it came out, I kind of forgot how iconic it really was. The music was everywhere. That Berlin single was just everywhere. It was in the charts every week. It was on TV. It was just everything had that. Obviously Kenny Loggins had half a dozen movies coming out, from Footloose to Flashdance. Yeah, exactly. Everybody wanted Kenny Loggins.
Oh, that's another reference that in Archer the main character constantly brings up the danger zone.
Yes.
You know what's dangerous? Your obsession with me. Seriously, Lana, call Kenny Loggins, because you're in the danger zone.
But and then one episode, Kenny Loggins actually appears as himself.
Oh, wow. There you go. Iconic guy.
It's in D minor. Do you know what that is? Or even what chords are? Yes.
Yeah, iconic guy indeed. Yeah.
But and like I feel the need for speed. We're all saying that and everything.
I was curious. Is this where the term wingman came from?
I think they were using this in like war movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been
Fair
around
enough.
since there's been wingmen in the Air Force or Navy.
Right.
There've been wingmen in bars for friends. I mean, I'm sure I've heard it
okay.
before I saw this movie.
Because I just thought, because
It was
it's so
amazing.
iconic that must have had like some kind of cultural relevance in regard to that.
No,
but
not
maybe
for
I'm
that one.
wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd heard it before.
Okay.
Because
fair
it wasn't like a weird concept when I heard it in the movie, so I must have heard it before.
okay.
And the most iconic thing was it actually boosted the Navy Air Cadets recruitment.
Wow.
And in fact, so much so that they actually just asked the production company if they can use the movie, and they would show the movie.
It was
as
like an instructional
Yes.
video.
No, not instruction, but as a recruitment thing. They would
Okay.
literally have it playing somewhere, and then afterwards, somebody from the Air Force or the Navy would come out and say, "Yes, that could be you if you want to be."
That's so ridiculous.
And they'd have it. I think they were allowed to play it on their website. Well, there wasn't a website at the time, but like on.
Wait, so it's like
Like
very
information
kind of, it's very accurate.
Yeah, I mean, Top Gun exists. It was like they made it with government money.
Oh,
Like the
wow.
government paid for all the flying
That's
hours and stuff like that.
mental.
So all this stuff, because if not, like flying all these planes and all that costs like a fortune.
Well, yeah. Wait, so was what's his name? The thingy, not Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise. Well, what was he already a pilot at this
No.
point?
So that was the thing. Like from the beginning, they wanted, and that's Tom Cruise loved that, and then after that, he became a pilot. So in the new movie,
Oh, so he became a pilot because of Top Gun.
I think so, yeah.
Ah, okay.
In the new Top Gun,
He
all
is
the-
actually
yes.
flying the plane.
So all the recruits are in a plane with a pilot
Mhm.
when they're being filmed, but he's the only one that's actually flying himself.
Wow.
So
Does his own stunts, flies his own planes.
oh yes, well
Tom
yeah,
Cruise
he's gonna
for
be.
you folks.
And he's been like on the press tour of this. He's been talking about like his pilot, which was like a bozo, and the first time that was his call sign. And the first time he went up, he was like, "Am I going to be sick?" And all that. No, it's all right. I'll treat you gently. And obviously, as soon as they were in the air, he did like loop the loops and whatever else he could. And he was just like sick as a parrot. Then he kind of took to it quite quickly because he's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, of course.
But already, the weird thing, I looked at his filmography before that. He hadn't done that much, but he was already
No.
a star.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Like when we went to see the movie, like one of the draws was Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I'd heard of Risky Business,
Yeah.
but the main thing I knew him from was Legend.
Ridley Scott.
He was
Tony Scott back to back.
I just realised that he did the two Scotts in a row. But apparently, after Risky Business, he became like hot property,
Yeah.
and he got offered like big parts all over the place. But when Ridley Scott said, "I'm gonna do a fancy movie in England that nobody's gonna go and see," he was like, "Yes, I want to do that." And it was great. I like Legend, but apart from France, nobody in America and in Europe it did reasonably well
Okay.
because it's an arty movie, and Ridley Scott was famous as an arty director from Duelist, and
Yeah.
and mostly this was just after Legend was just after Blade Runner.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is the
Blade
one that
Runner.
really
Yeah.
kind of like put him on the map for like French cinephiles. So
It's a pretty good first three films.
Yeah, I mean Legend was definitely not at the level. It looked amazing,
Yeah.
but it was just like it was. I did still want to see it like 3 times because of the cinema. It just looked amazing.
Is that the one with
Tim
Tim
Curry.
Curry's A Tandoori Chicken?
That's the one. Yes.
Right, yeah.
Or as the devil for people who don't know what we're
Yeah.
talking about. But he does have a very tandoori color.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that before, but as soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, that's true. So he went and did that instead of like taking offers from.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
think Scorsese had already offered him like The Color of Money, as it was.
Ah, okay.
But he refused all that and then came back.
Oh yeah, because that
did-
was kind of, wasn't that the same year as Top
this.
Gun?
Yeah, it was back to back.
Yeah.
So then he did Top Gun and Color of Money. at the same time, pretty much. After seeing The Color of Money, I was like so excited. I went into a bar and played pool, and I won. And I was really crap at pool, but I was so excited by the movie that I actually won a game in a pub. So there we go. That's how iconic Tom Cruise was. So between the Navy thing and the music and everything else, and also clothing, as I was telling you, they were selling patches, those Top Gun patches, and then I had that on my jacket for like 2 years after that. From 86 to 88, because this is when I lost my jacket in 88. I had that on my jacket, on my denim jacket, with my tartan roll-ups.
Right.
And T'Pow. T'Pow is a band from the 80s.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah,
Never heard of. But they were... and they had like this symbol where their name actually made a face with the letters of the name.
Aren't they the ones who did China in My Hand?
Yes.
Yeah.
In your hand, I think.
Oh, okay. Overall.
Yes. And of course everybody thought it meant China the country.
Oh, they literally meant like a plate?
They actually mean like having a really fragile piece of china in your hand.
And
you're squeezing too hard.
The country.
Yeah, no, it took me like years to realise that's what it was.
That's extremely literal.
Yes. Anyway, right. Sorry, we digress about T'Pow. Listen to T'Pow. And you'll probably won't like it, but you know, at the time they were my favourite band. But this was all the same kind of time as Top Gun, so it's all like 80s music, proper 80s ballads and kind of like electronic rock. Going around. So like in the music in this, I just read this sold like almost 10 million copies at the time, which is huge for something like that.
I mean, it won like loads of awards as well. Like I saw that it won a Brit Award for the best soundtrack. I didn't even know that was an award that the Brits did, but there you go. And the Oscars as well. It won the
best song.
But they won something.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
The soundtrack is really iconic. It's so dated, like it's very, very 80s, but it still gets your blood pumping.
It's still kicking.
You know,
how it's in the danger zone and you're like, yes!
Yeah.
Give me something to shoot at.
That is a really catchy song, I gotta say,
Take My Breath Away is still...
Yeah, I'd never found to Take My Breath Away. I still think it's not.
Oh really? Oh, I bought the Berlin album after that. Unfortunately, it was the only good song on it. I think they were actually German.
I don't know if they were. Well, maybe they were German.
Maybe I'm mixing it with Nena, because I also got Nena at the time. It was very similar. Anyways, we digress. Music. So this was like filmed like properly. You know, Top Gun is a thing. When Top Gun 2 is coming out.
No, I mean it's really well shot. Like for me,
the dogfights are
the dogfights are the best thing about the film. Really, all of those shots in the air are really, really well done.
I mean, the rest is a kind of normal like tropey hero 2-0 blah blah blah. But again, it's fine. It's very well made. Like you believe the actors.
I mean,
there's no
the problem with it is like I just couldn't get over the fact that it was basically a lesser version of The Right Stuff.
Oh yeah, I guess. But then
because it follows sort of the same.
But that's what I'm saying. These kind of things have been done since the invention of cinema. And novels.
100%. But the same thing about like testing, etc. Like people who are training, blah 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 blah. Well, there were fighter pilots in that, obviously, but maybe
at the same time, it is very like similar. But
and what's his face? Val Kilmer kind of reminds me a little bit of Gordo Cooper as well. That sort of like charming arrogance.
Yeah, I mean, balance. Like, but obviously, like all the ladies, and I learned later all the gay men were just like,
this is such a gay film. I mean, the ending where Iceman, who was just like, oh, you could be my wingman any day, and then he's just like, no, you could be mine. Just kiss, goddammit!
But you see, this is kind of like a new thing, because I've come from classic cinema, where women are just like the love kind of thing on the side, but it's always a story about men with men and how close they are in war and in gangs and in the police and all that kind of stuff. It's always like extremely close men friends.
Yeah.
And one of them gets a girlfriend somewhere, and the other one usually has a wife. But it's on the side, so like extremely close male partnerships was never a shock. Never at any point when I was growing up watching classic movies did I think, oh, they should be kissing, or oh my god, this is so gay. So when I watched this, nobody else in the cinema or whatever, the whole thing about the gay subplot came out years later. I'm sure the gays at the time, but the gays didn't really have a platform at the time.
Yeah,
They were still
not a mainstream one anyway.
Exactly. And because no internet, I didn't.
Yeah,
really
that
read
volleyball scene is just like.
And then I learned later
uber
that
gay.
as far as like, you know, kind of like in mainstream people were concerned,
Yeah.
that was just a normal kind of like army movie.
So is that just like a byproduct of the type of environment that it's in?
No way, because
Thing.
like, again, it's not a Tony Scott thing. He doesn't really do that anywhere else. It's not
Oh,
like he
okay.
just wanted to do like an army buddy thing, and he just wanted to make it a bit sexy, so you know, have a bit of flesh, and the ladies will like it. But
And
at
the
the
men
same
will
time,
like
you need
it as
to
well.
attract. Yeah, but you didn't know that. Because again, like people didn't think that way at the time, unless they were kind of like trying to hide that they were gay or whatever. Like, you know,
Right.
most Hollywood leading men in the 30s, 40s, and 50s,
Or
most
Tom
of the
Cruise.
people weren't even aware that that was a thing.
Yeah.
Like the mainstream. So I'm sure he just like, you know, is like, oh, you know, this is like a boys' movie, but we need to get we need to get the ladies to come and see it. So
Yeah.
let's get all the men naked in there. And yeah, there's no like subconscious. I don't even think they would have been. They're pretty straight-laced people, the Scots.
That's the thing that
it's
kind of
like that.
amuses me, like about the male gaze. Gaze as in Gaze, by the way.
Yes.
Not Gays. Is the kind of the mindset of, oh, this is what women will like.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, women don't fucking care about that. Like, that's a very male thing. Like that kind of like.
I had female friends who really enjoyed that scene and literally
Oh, really?
watched the movie just
Oh,
for
okay,
that.
fair enough then.
Yeah, no, like no. It's,
But no,
it's
typically, from what I gathered, like that's not really the case. That's a very like male sort of perception of what is attractive.
It's more for young women because they're like hormonal.
Right,
They just want to
okay.
see skin
Right, yeah,
and you know, muscly men or whatever.
Yeah.
After that, yeah, it's true. Like, you know, in like more mature women,
Yeah.
it's not usually
Because
like
men
that.
aren't particularly sophisticated
No.
regarding that.
But it
you
worked
know.
very well with teenage girls.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah. I could see that if, as you
which
said,
is
they're,
what
like,
they
hormonal
wanted.
and-
It was a movie for teenage guys, as such, trying to get them into the army. Or I mean, that's not why Tony Scott did it, but he was quite happy because the Navy just gave him loads of money.
Yeah.
He didn't have to pay for any of the flight times or whatever else.
What, really?
Yeah, because that's
Wow.
So it wasn't just the Navy; it was actually approved by the government altogether.
There can't be that many Hollywood films that have government backing.
Some of the army stuff they'd had, I think, you know, like maybe stuff like the Longest Day or whatever, or
Oh, yeah, well,
you know,
yeah.
some of the
I
big
can
war
see that,
movies
yeah.
from the 60s and 70s, I
Yeah.
think had actual soldiers
Yeah, that
in it,
makes
like A
sense.
Bridge Too Far and stuff
Yeah.
like that, probably. Wouldn't surprise me. But this one, like, nobody had really done a movie about. Didn't even know the Navy had an Air Force. We knew the Air Force, but like somebody was going to make a movie about Navy pilot. And they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, yeah, nobody even knows we exist, so yeah, just use whatever you want and we'll pay
Yeah,
for
yeah.
it and stuff. I'm kind of assuming, but I'm guessing that's what it was, because I wasn't, like, when I saw this movie, I was not aware that they were Navy pilots. Even though I'd seen movies with, like, people, you know, on airplane carriers, I thought the carriers were from the Navy and the
Yeah,
planes
yeah.
were from the Air Force. But yeah, they kind of, like, went very quickly, kind of graduated, did one mission, and then went back. It's just
Yeah.
like, is that it? You can, like, just after one mission? The thing is, in those days, there was so few engagements. Like, as soon as somebody had actually done real engagement, they were experts. Because 90% of the people in there just done exercise.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was so rare to actually see action, especially that kind of stuff. Yeah, like soldiers ground to ground,
Yeah, yeah.
they would have seen it. But air stuff, it was mostly kind of like intimidation, flying over here and there, and making sure there was no one in your airspace. But I don't know how many engagements there would have been.
Yeah.
And if they were probably like top secret, as they were in the movie. Even in that first scene where he goes back to get his friend,
Yeah.
you see the kind of like the star power just when he's like, you know, don't worry, I'm with you, just follow my wing, like all the way.
Yeah.
And it's like no wonder. I mean, he's a weird ass person, but
Yeah. As a film star?
as a film star, he's just, you can see why. I mean, he's just perfect for what he does. Even now, it just doesn't even look cheesy because he just does it so well.
The stuff in the air, but the
love
story element, like,
Yeah.
no.
But it's not anybody. It would have been cheesy with anybody because it was the story as it was.
Although it's kind of amusing because the director of the new one has basically said that because they noticed that Kelly McGillis and Meg Ryan aren't in it, and he's like, we didn't want to kind of look back, and a lot of people have been like, oh yeah, but fucking Val Kilmer's in it, and it's like, well, it's pretty clear why Kelly McGillis isn't in it.
No, yeah.
Well, one, I mean, she hasn't really acted much.
No, she
in the past few years.
she officially retired.
Oh, she has officially retired.
like-
and she's, what is it, like 60 something now, so officially, like, no one's interested in her. And, she's not, like, peak physical fitness, so the studio's like, oh, who cares? Because they're just incredibly shallow.
Could have got Meg Ryan, though, because she needed to play the, we got a
Yeah,
son.
but this is what I was getting
mom?
to. Like, I didn't know that Goose's son was gonna be in it. In that case, having Meg Ryan in it would kind of make sense.
Yeah.
But maybe there was like a scheduling conflict.
I'm sure.
I have no idea.
If they wanted her,
Yeah, but Kelly McGillis, like, are you really expecting her to be around? Like, in this story, like, at that time, like, she was like an instructor, and the idea that their relationship would have continued for however many years it is, like, that's way too optimistic.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean,
the romantics would have hoped. But
yeah, exactly. Like, this is real life. Like, I saw someone who posted in a comment going like, at this age, he would have been on his third divorce and fighting alcoholism.
Pretty much. Which is kind of what happens. He's kind of like all washed out, I think, when they call him again or something like that.
Yeah. Although clearly he hasn't been drinking because, it's Tom Cruise and, look at him. Like, he still looks about 40 odd.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like... and this was before Tony Scott fell in love with digital. But I mean, a huge fan of Tony Scott. Even his shit movies, like the next one after this, which is literally the same stories but with cars.
Oh, Days of Thunder?
Days of Thunder, that's the one.
Yeah.
It's all exactly the same. That one's probably his weakest one, but he made a lot of money of it because he managed to get Tom Cruise back.
I haven't actually seen many Tony Scott films that I did think were, like, genuinely great. I mean, True Romance is the...
True Romance
kind of the high water
yeah.
mark, really.
But you haven't seen Man on Fire.
Yeah.
But Tony Scott always managed to make, a popcorn thriller look just great. Like, that's the thing, you just never had anything to say about the production value and the directing, because the actors did their job. You never had like a bad performance from anyone. The action shots always looked amazing. And that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not asking him to do Citizen Kane because I'd rather watch Man on Fire than Citizen Kane anyways. It's a lot more watchable. But, there's so many of these movies that are just crap because the director doesn't know what they're doing. And that's what I love about Tony Scott. It's just like, it's the consistency, and he even managed to do the kind of like the personal stuff really well. Like, even in this, it's slightly cheesy, but it's never kind of like, oh my god, what the hell is going on? Except for the sex scenes, let me say. I can't remember any sex scenes now. I think, oh yeah, the one in Days of Thunder is pretty bad as well. There's not many more after that. But yes, hooray for Tony Scott. And so sad that...
Yeah.
And he got to his summit when Ridley Scott was kind of like doing like the Crusade one and all this crap stuff. But there's a lot more mediocre stuff in Ridley Scott's career than in Tony Scott. Even Tony Scott's worst thing is always watchable. Is always competent. Like, Days of Thunder is probably the worst. And it's still watchable and competent. There's nothing...
Right, yeah.
Whereas Ridley Scott kind of runs away with stories. He's really bad at holding up his scripts in some of the movies. And kind of like goes, let's do this. And it's like, yeah, but nobody cares about this. I'm going to do like a 20-minute fight scene in the Crusades, but we don't care about the characters, so what's the point? So I'm always a big defender of Tony Scott, even over Ridley, although I like them both, but I like Ridley for his good movies, where I pretty much, I don't hate any of Tony Scott's stuff. He's got a really good hold on the characters and the action, and the balance is really good. That's the main thing that I want in a movie, and that's it.
So, what's your score?
More than like the 50% on there. I mean,
57 actually, but
57, yeah. For what it is, in retrospect, I'll give it 4 star because of the iconic stuff. I guess as an actual movie, maybe 3.5. It's very well made, but again, it's cheesy, so I can't give it much more than that.
I'm kind of hovering between 3 and 3.5.
So I think 3, I give 3 to kind of like an average kind of good popcorn movie.
Yeah.
But to me, this is better, again, because of Tony having such a good hold on stuff.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, the action scenes are...
And the action scenes, the soundtrack as well.
And that's it, and you care about the characters, and even now, I actually had a little tear when we see Meg Ryan hugging him after Goose dies. It's just like, sorry, spoiler alert.
I'm surprised it's taken this long to talk about Goose perishing.
Oh yeah, but again, it's like a trope and a half. So I mean, the best friend has to die. But like, if you're the best friend of the hero in a movie like this, you really don't have much hope.
Yeah. I mean, like that growing up, that was like Goose getting smoked. That was like the big thing that I remember. Like my brother. Like
oh yeah,
stuff.
I mean, it's very sad.
But so maybe the impact was slightly lessened because of that, because I knew it was.
Oh, you knew it was coming.
But yeah, he's a decent character, I suppose.
Yeah, and like it's like the whole
I mean, the whole camaraderie between everyone is entertaining.
But anyways, I think Meg Ryan's like she's just perfect in this role. She's like,
But no, I think it's really competently made. The action scenes are great, and certainly the end is one of the best bits, I think.
Oh, the dogfights. Yeah, the last. Yeah, I know. But I mean, yesterday when we went to the IMAX and we saw, literally they showed like 3 minutes of the dogfights from the new movie.
Yeah.
That was very impressive. I hope I can get to see an IMAX after all.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it in IMAX now. Especially now knowing that, it's being considered like infinitely better than the original, which has me impressed.
And again, the original's not bad. It's just they had more money, they had more time, and they,
Yeah.
They weren't going for Oscar contention with
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day.
Right.
Or even like...
I think we're kind of past the action blockbusters being nominated for like Best Picture and stuff.
Yeah. Which is a shame, because some of them probably do.
Because none of the like Mission Impossible films have been nominated.
No.
So
I think this would probably be more
technical
nominatable than technical wise and all that kind of stuff, and that might be like, because Goose's son is played by this guy who plays everything these days,
Miles Teller.
Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me if he got something.
Yeah, because when you said Goose's son, I was like, oh yeah, the guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
Clearly.
That's it.
Because he has to look like him somehow. It's like, let's give him a mustache.
So, and that's not a spoiler because that's in literally the synopsis of the movie.
Yeah.
So there we go.
So that was our thoughts on Top Gun. Well, actually no, I think it did surpass my expectations a bit. I was fully expecting this to be pretty mediocre, and like I would be like giving it like a 4 or 5 out of 10. But no, it's pretty decent. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing with Tony Scott. He can make Tribe look good.
Well, yeah.
Go watch all the Tony Scott's movies. It's a lesson you
Pow.
have to take. And listen to Pow. If you take 2 lessons from this video.
Let us know what you thought of the film in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can find me on Letterboxd as well in the description. I'll put yours.
I haven't got much on Letterboxd, so.
Well, I'll put yours
put it
in the
anyways.
description anyway. Yeah. So, ta-ra, toodles.
Bye bye.